What are you currently hiding from your partner? Before we start with the first story, please hit subscribe and ring the notification bell to stay updated with us. Story 1. I have been secretly putting $50/week away for ages, and so far have about $6,300. When it gets to $8,000 next year, then I'm going to have her book 2 weeks off work for her upcoming 40th, telling her we'll start saving up to go away for a week to a scenic area up the coast, about an hour's flight away. Stay at a nice hotel, relax, and then afterwards have a week lazing around at home. Which we've talked about before. That'll be a nice holiday. She'll be excited about that. Except nah, we're not doing that. We're going to go to Japan for a week and a half, a place she's wanted to visit for her whole life and thinks it's never ever going to happen because it's too expensive. Story 2. I successfully purchased an in-demand Magic the Gathering set that sold out immediately. He's super bummed because he wanted them, and they're way too expensive to buy individually from resellers. A friend of mine is helping to talk him out of buying any individual cards, since he's getting a full set for his birthday next week. With the month Python release, they had specific cards in the release. If you bought Volume 1 and Volume 2, then you get all of the cards. It's not like a normal release where the cards are random. He came down later that day saying all his Magic friends were talking about how quickly they sold out, and nobody he knew was able to buy any. I was suppressing a grin because I'd gotten my confirmation email. He's gonna be thrilled. Story 3. That I joined all the anonymous confession groups in my area on FB, Reddit, etc., and read the messed up stories people post about their lives, true or not, to get a secret fix of drama that is otherwise not present in my life. We had a similar thing on our radio show in the area. There was one that was about catching cheaters, most of them were surprisingly, and another about secret confessions. I had to stop listening to the cheating one because it sounded a lot like the things my ex did. Didn't help that I'm pretty sure he was cheating though. Story 4. I have a list of details about her: birthday, shoe size, clothing, favorite colors, food preferences, mom's name, as well as ideas for gifts and things. She's probably seen it over my shoulder, and that's fine, but I wouldn't ever directly show it to her since it's nice to be able to have certain things she's said or talked about in passing ready for gift searches and little surprise planning. I used to feel like it felt like cheating not to just have all of this stuff in my head, but I'm getting older and I'm busy. Why not have a little tool to help me be a better partner? Story 5. That I already have a plan set up to accidentally order food to one of his best friend's houses a couple times a month. He's a great friend of ours, and he struggles with hunger because of financial problems. I want to make sure he eats. Edit because a couple people were curious. I don't have to hide it from my partner, but my SEO is very bad at lying and keeping secrets, and I don't want the friend to catch on. My son had a friend who was born to young parents and money is usually super tight for them. Every time he goes to play at their house, I drop him off on my way to the grocery store. I hope she thinks I'm the biggest flake ever because I'm constantly buying things by accident that we already have at home. Oops, bought a bag of apples and we still have 3/4 of a bag. Bought a big watermelon but can't fit it all in the fridge. Granola bars were on sale so I grabbed them, but the kids still have 2 boxes. I send it all home with her when she comes to drop my kid off. Story 6. That I'm shopping for an engagement ring, which she knows, but she doesn't know when I'm gonna buy it or pop the question or how, and I know she'll eventually see this message and start to worry. Maybe I already bought it. Maybe it's in your purse. The lady and myself went shopping for hers one weekend last summer. I wanted to pick out what she liked. Jeweler gave me a card for later on which I kept in my wallet. Kept that card in the same spot even after I purchased the ring. I had it for 2 months before I proposed. She later told me she had always looked for the card when I would open my wallet. Story 7. When we started dating, I said I didn't care about marriage and now I wish I could marry her, but I don't want to tell her that cause I think she'd dump me. Being with her and showing her how much I love her is enough for me for now. But I really wish I could marry her and have a huge party, wedding, showing everyone, including her. I know how much I love her. I know I'm like the 500th comment and no one's gonna see this, but it still feels nice to say to someone. Edit. Shocked so many people saw this mail. Thanks for all the advice. Maybe I'll listen to some of it someday. As much as I'd love to approach this topic with her now, I think we've got a few other things to iron out first, like when she's gonna wanna live with me lol. Story 8. Find a good time to casually ask her if her perspective on marriage has changed. Then use that open door to tell her that your perspective has kinda changed, and then articulate all the things about her that has made you realize you would be happy marrying her. And tell her it's totally okay if she still doesn't want to get married because you just love being with her. It was just important that you let her know how you were feeling, and that you're glad she knows so she doesn't have to wonder where you stand in case she ever changes her mind about marriage. In short, this is just an opportunity to be transparent about how much you love her. That's never a bad thing. Story 9. We've been together going on 18 years. Last month he sent me a link on Messenger to a Facebook Marketplace ad for a globe that opens into a bar and you put your liquor and glasses in it. I didn't say anything back, but I messaged the seller and scooped it up the next day. It's hiding in the spare bedroom closet and it's going to be his Christmas present. Once I stock it with some of his favorite drinks and maybe a few he's always wanted to try. Story 10. Just that I cry a bit before falling asleep. We are going through infertility and had 2 losses back to back. He can't help much in the situation, it's just emotional overload, quickly done with, and all it would do to wake him up would be him worrying even more about me and wrecking his sleep. Then he would go to work sleep deprived and worried, which is not good. If it gets bad I'll wake him, but these short bursts when the world is quiet I can plenty handle on my own, and I prefer it so. Just to be clear, I'm not hiding that this is hard, and we support each other a lot. I just don't think these nightly bursts has an upside in bringing him into. Well, this blew up a bit, thank you for the kind comments. Didn't expect all this love, but it is much appreciated. Story 11. That I've paid for his childhood friend that he hasn't seen for 10 years to come over this weekend from Europe. He thinks I'm nagging him to sort the guest bedroom because my parents are coming to town. My wife did this for me. Except her way of hiding it all from me was by telling me one of her friends was coming. I didn't really care for this particular friend and she knew that. I mean, I didn't mind her hanging out with her, she just wasn't for me. So that kinda made it so I was dreading it the whole drive up to the airport. When she finally landed, we were waiting and I saw this dude that I thought was my best friend from the East Coast. I made a comment like, crap, that looks like so-and-so. I'm still oblivious. So I kinda go back to looking for my wife's friend, and she runs off hollering out my friend's name. Still oblivious, I'm calling her back like we gotta wait for your friend. She continues down the escalator, so I finally follow. When it finally dawned on me after getting to baggage I'd been played, 10/10 best gift ever. Story 12. I'm trying to write her a letter. When we first met, I was in the very beginning stages of joining the military. Because of that, we only got to text for 3 days before I lost my phone privileges for 8 weeks. We weren't going steady by any means, but I was definitely intrigued. So I asked for her address on the last day with my phone and asked if she'd write back. She gave a non-committal answer, so I was pleasantly surprised 2 weeks later to get a mail call. We wrote almost every day until I got home on Christmas leave. We've been together for almost 13 years and I love her more than anything else in this world. We've built a pretty comfortable life for ourselves and been mildly successful. This past year, her mother was diagnosed with terminal cancer and we moved her in with us to help and care for her. I know it's killing her watching her mother wither away, and she's always thanking me for putting up with it. It makes me so sad that she's so used to everyone just leaving her when crap gets hard. I may be guilty of it in small doses when we first started dating. I want to write her a letter that will put her at ease, even in these trying times. She deserves so much better than she's gotten for most of her life, and I hope I can do it justice. I've got a few hidden post-it notes with rough drafts scattered about. I just haven't had the time to sit down and combine them all. She needs something good. Story 13. I occasionally use dairy alternatives when cooking, like oat milk or lactose-free milk. The stubborn mule is lactose intolerant, but refuses to accept it. He thinks it's normal for his guts to explode after eating dairy. He claims he can tell the difference, but he never does. He's one of those old farts that says, "Show me the teat on an almond." He actually likes the food better when I use oat milk and raves about it. I love the man, but he's so stubborn. If it means his health is better, I'll let him believe he's eating dairy. As someone with food sensitivities and can tell without someone telling me, I would very much encourage you telling him that he has not been able to tell the difference. If you make lactose-free mac and cheese at home and he's okay, he's going to be further in denial about his lactose intolerance. It may make him order mac and cheese from restaurants, which might do a number on him. But if you confess that you've been trying to look out for him and that he has not been able to taste a difference, but maybe has felt a difference, then maybe it can start that acceptance that he has developed a lactose intolerance without giving up the foods he loves. Story 14. I fantasize about my partner and I relapsing together. He and I started dating a few months into my recovery. I have 1.5 years no alcohol now, and he has about 2.5 years. And he's been such a huge source of support for me over the last year we've been together. This is definitely the healthiest relationship I've ever been in now that I can emotionally regulate again and not simply drown my worries with vodka like I'd always done in past relationships. But I'd be lying if I said I don't still miss drinking and that I don't sometimes fantasize about having a fun, messy night out with him. I often wish he and I could have the experience of going out to bars/parties/etc. as a couple and actually indulge in casual partying like our friends do. I don't plan on acting on these fantasies because a few hours of fun is not worth the countless risks it poses to our personal growth and relationship. But it worries me a little bit that I have this vague longing for scenarios that would be ultimately harmful for us. Story 15. I have been saving up a large sum of money that I will soon surprise her with. We live apart at the moment, and I have been avoiding all unnecessary purchases and even haircuts for a little boost. She thinks I am in between freelance jobs that pay little to none, which I am, but I made a freakishly lucky investment. I pulled out my funds and am now stacking 40% of each paycheck on top of that. Currently planning her dream vacation for around spring of 2025 while still having enough for possibly finding an apartment and having it paid off for 6 months. So far, I'm 3/4 of the way to my goal. Hopefully the rare haircuts don't turn her off before then. Alright folks, that's a wrap. If you like this, please hit the thumbs up and subscribe to the channel. You can also share your those in the comment below.